This is macOS Ken.
Apple services across the ages, a rapid security replacement from Apple, and so many Emmy nominations. It is Thursday, the 13th of July, 2023. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Use code macOSKen50 at factormeals.com/macOSKen50 for 50% off. This show is also sponsored by Issue, the all-in-one platform to create and distribute beautiful digital content. Creating once and sharing everywhere is easy to do with audio and video. I don't mean the creation is easy, but audio and video play the same through all sorts of channels. What we used to call print, well, that's a bit different. You might want your stuff on a website, in an email to your clients, on a social network. That can mean lots of reformatting, resizing, uploading, re-uploading. Could be a lot of work, or you could work with Issue. Whether you're out there by yourself, working with a partner, or working with a team, you can create and share engaging content that stands out in just a matter of minutes. Not that you're starting from scratch. Issue works seamlessly with the tools you're probably using already, like Dropbox, Canva, and InDesign. With Issue, you can create once and share everywhere. Get started with Issue today for free, or sign up for an annual premium account and get 50% off when you go to issue.com/podcast and use promo code macOSKen. That's ISSUU.com/podcast and use promo code macOSKen at checkout for your free starter account or 50% off an annual premium account. That's issue.com/podcast with promo code macOSKen. New numbers from consumer intelligence research partners seem to shed light on the age breakdown between users of Apple Music and Apple TV Plus. Surprise, the kids are using Apple Music while the olds go for the TV. 9 to 5 Mac has had a look at the numbers. According to the piece, while the use of the two services is almost even for the 55 to 64-year-old group, there is a stark change for the oldest 65-plus group, who is 2 times more likely to be Apple TV Plus users than Apple Music listeners. The piece goes on to say CIRP believes that high Apple Music adoption between the 18 to 44-year-old group makes sense, as they're tech-savvy and looking for a seamless solution. They also likely grew up with digital music, while older customers did not. YouTube, TikTok. The kids I know barely watch shows, except for anime. Maybe Apple should think about that. Or maybe Apple is fine. 9 to 5 Mac points out that Apple services set a record in the March quarter with just under $21 billion in revenue. While the company doesn't break out how much revenue comes from each service, CIRP believes that Apple Music and Apple TV Plus are 2 of the most used services, according to the report. Fun and games with this week's rapid security response seem to have come to a happy end. No doubt you remember this story. On Monday, Apple released a rapid security response for the latest versions of iOS, iPadOS, and macOS, meant to secure a WebKit vulnerability. On Tuesday, Apple pulled the RSR back because it was crashing such sites as Facebook, Instagram, and Zoom for the people who'd installed it. Apple also said it planned to issue an RSR to fix the vulnerability, and now it has. Apple Insider ran a piece Wednesday saying that the Cupertino company had issued Security Response 16.5.1c, while the release notes for Monday's release, 16.5.1a, said that that addressed an issue where processing web content may lead to arbitrary code execution The notes for 16.5.1c say it includes the fixes from the 16.5.1a update and fixes an issue that prevents some websites from displaying properly. Now, I gotta say, I had a vague idea of how the rapid security response thing was supposed to work before this week. I learned a lot more watching Apple try again. If you'd like to join me in my learning, be on the lookout for this week's checklist by Secure Mac. Checklist number 336, Rapid Security Response and Retreat, talks about how it's supposed to work and how it works when it doesn't work. Plus a massive password reset gone wrong. That is the checklist by Secure Mac. Find it at securemac.com/checklist or wherever you get podcasts. With the security thing seemingly seen to, the big software story Wednesday was tied to the next big round of updates. Mac Rumors ran a number of pieces midweek announcing the first public betas of iOS and iPadOS 17, macOS 14 Sonoma, watchOS 10, and tvOS 17. Lots of newness on the way. Anticipated features for iPhone and iPad include standby mode for iPhone, kind of like a bedside clock, which was pretty much destroyed by iPhone. Interactive widgets on the lock screen and home screen, live voicemail, video messages for FaceTime, and that list does go on. For macOS 14, anticipated features include interactive widgets for the desktop, updated screensavers, similar to the ones on Apple TV, and presenter overlay for video calls, provided yours is a Mac powered by Apple Silicon. Anticipated features for watchOS 10 include Smart Stack, which brings up needed information in a timely manner, rebuilds of built-in apps that should make for quicker response time, and a couple of new watch faces, Palette, and the Peanuts characters Snoopy and Woodstock. And finally, features worth looking forward to for tvOS 17 include bringing FaceTime to Apple TV, provided you bring a camera, a revamped control center, and enhanced dialogue to make it easier to understand what the heck the people on the TV are saying. I'm practicing for being an old. Apple's public testing program is just that, free and open to the public. You can find out more and get signed up at beta.apple.com. I do have to do the standard warning, though. Maybe only run the betas on a spare device, a test device, or a device that's not mission critical. I don't want to tell you how to live your life, just don't come crying to me if things go wrong. Wow, I really am practicing for being an old. Want to hear the weirdest software story of the day? Apple is fixing an issue with an iPod it has not sold in 6 years. Another piece from Mac Rumors says the upcoming macOS 13.5 update resolves a syncing issue with the 3rd generation and 4th generation iPod Shuffle, according to Apple's developer release notes. According to those notes, the macOS update fixes an issue where iPod Shuffle, 3rd and 4th generation, cannot be synced due to an unknown error, -244. That'll no doubt come as great news to somewhere between 3 and 5 people on the planet. The retail union at Maryland's Apple Towson Town Center location is having difficulty with negotiations. Earlier this week, Apple Insider had CORE, the Coalition of Organized Retail Employees, tweeting about their issues with the Cupertino company. According to the report, the account states that Apple does not wish to bargain in good faith with unionized workers, despite months of negotiations up to this point. They say Apple has broken a number of rules and laws under the National Labor Relations Act, including engaging in regressive bargaining and surface bargaining. As part of the dealings, they also accuse Apple of coming to the table with 3 proposals that were actually just different ways of presenting Apple's current policies tied to such benefits as bereavement, sick time, and unpaid leave. With that, the union reps say they had no choice but to return to their caucus room and determine their recourse. The way Apple Insider sees it, the union appears to be waiting to see if Apple receives any repercussions for its latest negotiation tactics. Seemingly having less trouble, workers hitting the road for the Cupertino company. 9 to 5 Mac highlights a Mac Reports report that shows the number of drivers in Apple's autonomous vehicle program back on the upswing. It's been up and down for 2023. At the start of the year, the piece says Apple had more drivers than ever before, peaking at 201. By April, that number had fallen to 145. Since then, the number has climbed a tiny bit. Apple's now got 152 people behind the wheel, doing absolutely nothing in a best-case scenario. That's 152 drivers for 66 autonomous vehicles. While the car should be able to drive itself, Apple's apparently not ready for that. The company has yet to apply for a driverless permit, according to the report. More news in a moment, but first a word from Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit and sponsor of today's show. If you're looking for meals that won't weigh you down or slow you down this summer, you're looking for Factor. Whether you're opting for convenience or working on a wellness plan, Factor has amazing, ready-to-eat meals featuring high-quality ingredients that are never frozen, always fresh. Factor has over 30 restaurant-quality options every week, like bruschetta shrimp risotto, green goddess chicken, and grilled steakhouse filet mignon. It's less expensive than takeout, and faster too. 10 minutes in the oven or 2 minutes in the microwave, and you are eating very well. I've been blown away by the proteins in my Factor meals, and the sauces, and the convenience. Try them for yourself and see. Head to factormeals.com/macOSKen50 and use code macOSKen50 to get 50% off. That's code macOSKen50 at factormeals.com/macOSKen50 to get 50% off. Taste what's made Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Use code macOSKen50 for 50% off at factormeals.com/macOSKen50. Apple TV Plus stories run the gamut today, starting with a long free trial or retrial. Apple Insider says Sony has partnered with the Cupertino company to offer a 3-month free trial to new subscribers through PlayStation 4. Additionally, PlayStation 5 owners can get a 6-month free trial, even if they've used a free trial of Apple TV Plus before. The only people who are boxed out are the people who are already on the Apple One bundle, according to the report. Well, those people and people who don't have a PS4 or PS5. Users will also need to download the Apple TV app and create an Apple ID if they don't already have one. The offer ends on the 31st of July. Coming soon to Apple TV Plus, the 3rd and final season of the Rose Byrne dark comedy Physical. Not only does it have a release date, it's also got a trailer. Apple issued a press release Wednesday promoting the show. Season 3 sees New Girl and Elf's Zooey Deschanel join the cast. I'm not going to give away any of the plot because if you've watched the first 2 seasons, you probably don't want me to spoil it. And if you haven't, you probably don't care. If you're curious on any count, the first 2 seasons of Physical are available to stream now on Apple TV+. The Season 3 trailer is available now on YouTube. The first 2 episodes of the 3rd season hit Apple TV Plus on Wednesday, the 2nd of August. And finally today, hot and terrible as this summer is for many, this is not the season that never ends. Now, the season that never ends is award season. The nominees for the 75th Annual Emmy Awards were announced on Wednesday. Apple did not claim the most, though it was safely in the top 5. Running those down, HBO Max took first place with 127 nominations. Netflix was second with 103. Hulu was third with 64. Apple TV Plus came in fourth with 54 nominations. And Prime Video was fifth with 42. Leading the pack for Apple was Ted Lasso with 21 nominations. That included a number for acting, writing, and outstanding comedy series. Still, a Michael J. Fox movie nabbed 7 nominations. Bad Sisters, Shrinking, The Problem with Jon Stewart, Blackbird. Nominations were all over the place, including for a couple of Apple productions that were not on Apple TV+. A piece from 9 to 5 Mac says Rihanna's Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show picked up 5 Emmy nominations. Categories for that include Outstanding Production Design for a Variety Special, Outstanding Directing for a Variety Special, Outstanding Music Direction, Outstanding Variety Special, Live, and Outstanding Technical Direction and Camera Work for a Special. Apple TV Plus even got a nomination for one of its commercials. Deadline says the ad Call Me with Timothée Chalamet. That's how we say it around these parts. Anyway, Deadline says that commercial is competing in the Outstanding Commercial category. If you've not seen that, it is available on YouTube. It played for me without a commercial, unless you count the commercial I was there to watch. This year's Emmy Awards presentation is scheduled to air on Fox on Monday, the 18th of September. I assume that assumes no disruptions due to various Hollywood strikes. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Issue. Get 50% off an annual premium account with code macOS Ken at issue.com/podcast. This show is also sponsored by Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit. Use code macOSKen50 at factormeals.com/macOSKen50 for 50% off. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. Until next time, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.